91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Acoustic Hot Tuna, San Francisco Bay Blues, recorded live at Fur Peace Ranch back in 2017. Let us get on the line. Today's guest, Jorma.
Hey, how are you?
I'm doing wonderful. Great that we're talking. It's always really an honor to have you on this show. When I wake up in the morning and I know you're going to be a guest, it feels like Christmas Day to me.
Oh gosh, I hope you get better presents than that. But thanks for the thought.
And it's my daughter's 22nd birthday, so it's a really good day today. Yeah, absolutely. Let me just do my usual brief introduction, if I may, and let the listeners know. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame inductee and Lifetime Grammy Award winner Jorma Kaukonen of Jefferson Airplane and Hot Tuna is one of Rolling Stone's top guitarists of all time. Jefferson Airplane was just recently honored with a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. Hot Tuna will begin their tour later this month on November 30th in Beverly, Massachusetts, and will be in our area at the Capitol Theater in Port Chester on December 2 and 3. Jorma will also be performing a solo show at the Egg in Albany on December 13th. And with that, again, such an honor and a delight to welcome you back to LocalMotion, Jorma Kaukonen.
Hey, thanks for having me, Rita. Really appreciate it.
So I got to tell you, I don't know, go out to see live music at least once a week. It's my therapy session. Best show it will be, it's not going to change, of the whole year. April 22nd, Carnegie Hall. You served up some delicious burgers.
Yeah, we did. We had a heck of a good time, and we had some help from dear friends, Larry Campbell and Teresa Williams, and our buddy Justin Whip, of course.
Of course. That show was, it was electric. The audience was electric. I've seen Tuna countless times. That was just a special one. And, of course, you played burgers in its entirety. So cool. The T-shirts sold out. It was crazy. People just, grabbing the stuff up. But the second set that you and Jack did, tell us about that. That was, not the normal set list for you guys.
Well, a lot of that is an outgrowth of the pandemic. I mean, we can complain about a lot of stuff, and I do because I'm a complainer by nature most of the time, but I got to say that, with everything being shut down and me having to back away from my normal, working public life, whatever you want to call it, I just got a chance to sit back while I was back at the ranch. And instead of doing nothing, I just started looking at my retrospective of stuff over the years. And Vanessa and Johnny and I were doing our quarantine concerts for a while there.
A long time.
And I'm just stuff to do. And I'm picking out these old Hot Tuna things that we had just never done in a long, probably some of it since we recorded them. Because, when you're on the road, or when I'm on the road, you get your show together. But I just never get a chance to really work on new stuff because you're traveling, you're on the bus, and that doesn't invite that sort of thing. So to sit around and at home, that did invite that, and Jack and I wound up learning and adapting a lot of old stuff and bringing it back into the present.
Man, and this was pre-Jefferson Airplane days.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. So some of the stuff that Jack and I got out, when Jack was... 1960, the summer of 1960, I spent a little more than summer. I spent 4 months in New York City, and I was really just learning how to play acoustic guitar, fingerstyle guitar. And I was on my way back to the Philippines to visit my folks and spend a year of school out there. And I stopped off to see Jack in D.C., and he recorded all these songs, which he recorded 18 songs in the end of the summer of 1960, and he'd rediscovered them and done all the stuff you need to preserve tapes and stuff like that. So we got to look at some stuff that was not only before Jefferson Airplanes, before everything.
Damn.
And a lot of it was really good, and so we were starting to adapt some of that into our set also.
Man, it was just really special. I had Larry and Teresa on the show about 2 weeks ago, and we talked about that show. and how special that show was to them, and being part of that you invited them there. And I know that Larry's coming out to you guys this weekend, and I know you guys are family,
Absolutely. Larry and Teresa, they always bring them whenever they show up. I mean, not just with me, whatever they do, they are music incarnate, you know.
Yep.
But we've wound up becoming dear friends over the years, and I don't even need to think about it. I just know great things are going to happen when we all get together.
100%. 100%. To me, you guys are the pinnacle, and to put you guys together is just, beyond, I don't know. It's just, I'm telling you, thank you for that show at Carnegie Hall. That was just really the best show I've seen all year, and I go see some live music. So thank you, Jorma. That was top notch. I'll remember that show as long as I live. So,
well, you want to know something? So will we. We had a great time, and the work that Lair did, channeling Papa John, when he played fiddle on all those songs of Burgers. I mean, he's just amazing. He's just amazing, and I'm sure Papa John, wherever he is today, may rest in peace, was smiling.
Oh, absolutely. And I also want to say hi to Vanessa, because I actually met her in person at Carnegie Hall, and that was really nice to just, see her and say hello in person. It was really cool. So, yeah, good stuff. Good stuff.
Good times for all of us.
Absolutely. You've got another thing coming out, I understand. Speaking of older recordings, on Record Store Day, November 25th, the legendary typewriter tape.
Right. So some of those things have been floating around for a long time, but there's other things that nobody's heard. So the Jefferson Airplane, we have a legacy management company that kind of like handles all the airplane and Starship stuff, and they were heavily responsible for us getting that Hollywood Walk of Fame a couple of weeks ago. Also,
we have to talk about that. Yeah, that's coming up next.
We'll definitely talk about that. But anyway, I think us and Robbie Krieger and John Densmore, because they do the Doors too, are probably some of the only people that they quote unquote manage that are alive, because they do Janis Joplin, Jimi Hendrix, all kinds of stuff. We're really an interesting company that keeps the legacy alive of all these people. Charlie Parker also.
Wow.
Anyway, so they. We got together and did this great package for Record Store Day. See, I love the Record Store Day thing too, because I still like vinyl. It's so much fun, and a lot of companies are doing real high quality releases on re-releases and re-releases on vinyl.
Yep. Absolutely, they are. And this, though, I mean, Janis. This was Janis Joplin and you can find some of that stuff out on YouTube. Anybody that wants to look for it, but. I mean, this was recorded June 25th, 1964. That's 58 years ago. I mean, tell us, you were out in college that way. I was Santa Clara, if I remember correctly.
Sure.
Yeah?
Yeah, I was still in college then. I hadn't graduated yet. But, yeah, so it's a funny thing, because people go, well, how could, because that's my ex-wife, Margaretta, playing. Mm-hmm. You're playing hitting the typewriter. Well, how come, back in those days, Janis had she had some sort of a benefit she was doing in San Francisco, and she corralled me into being her accompanist, which, of course, I was honored to do. And so she came down to Santa Clara, and so we could rehearse, and that's what we were doing. We were rehearsing, and Margaretta was typing a note home to her parents. Now, I had just bought a tape recorder back then, and now we've got our phones, we got all this high-tech stuff. I mean, you can document every bit of minutia that consumes you, But back then, it was a big deal. I had this mono tape recorder, and we just started playing, and I had the tape recorder. I threw a tape on, boom, hit record. Just recorded everything. And we weren't thinking about a project or anything. We were just recording what we were doing. And of the three of us in our room, one of us was typing a letter.
Wow. Yeah. No, it's really cool. And they've got 8 tracks being released on this thing. And I guess it was restored and mastered, right, by engineer Michael Graves?
Absolutely. Yeah. Great job, too, by the way.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, man, good stuff, good stuff. So everybody look for this. The legendary typewriter tapes being released Record Store Day, November 25th of this year. Janis Joplin and Jorma Kaukonen. I got to say, I saw the album, I don't know, on YouTube or something. Really cool pictures, too. There's one of you.
Great package.
Yeah.
Great package.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, this is a really cool thing. I'm sure you guys will be posting and keeping us up to date on all that release.
Oh, absolutely.
And it's coming out just on vinyl, yes?
No, it's going to be a CD also.
Okay.
It's going to be a CD. So, but for guys like me, we'll need to have both. We'll need CD. My old Jeep actually still has a CD player in it, so that's good stuff.
I love that. I love that. Yeah, absolutely. Oh, that's so cool. That's coming up. Now, the other thing that was really neat to see live on the good old, technology, the Walk of Fame. Jefferson Airplane honored with the 2737th star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame.
Yep.
Awesome. I mean, come on. That the coolest thing I've seen in a long time. There's you, Grace Slick, and Jack.
Cool.
Ah.
And it is cool, and I understand this is probably a family-rated radio show, but Grace, she hadn't said 3 words before she started cursing. It was perfect. She never lets us down.
I remember you saying that about her, and I was waiting for her to just let loose.
I say it all the time, and she never lets us down. God bless her.
Yeah. It was so good to see the 3 of you together up there, and man, what a beautiful honor. And also
really?
There from the Doors, John Densmore was there too.
Yeah, he was the presenter, and that was really nice too because, we're not buds. We've never hung out, but I know John. We've known each other for a long time, and it was really a thrill that he was there to be, one of the presenters to introduce us.
Right. And where is the star? Like it's located in front of the Musicians Institute?
Correct. Which is it's sort of like. It's kind of like the Berklee School of Music, I think, but I think it's more of a community-oriented thing. It couldn't be in a better spot.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
What we were talking about, I mean, it's just, who would have thought, really, get a star of fame. That's unbelievable. We were talking about, I forget it was, there was some band that, people lobby for position. Well, I want my star to be here, I want my star to be there. And with some band a number of years ago, they got their star right in front of Tower Records, which seemed like a great idea, but then Tower Records went out of business.
Yeah. No, this will be there for quite some time. Now, how do you get that? Do you be nominated? How do you get that?
That's a good question, and it has a lot to do with our legacy management company, Jeff Jampole and Associates. And to be honest with you, I couldn't really tell you, but it requires some kind of maneuvering. You have to qualify, and honestly, I wish I had a great answer for it, but I don't because I didn't follow this. All that being said, once you qualify for the star, it also costs you money because you have to pay for the eternal upkeep of it. But that's another story, and what is worth it. Whatever it is, it's worth it.
Absolutely. I mean, that's there forever and ever for generations to see. And absolutely. Yeah, no, how cool. And I think it's still up if people are listening and they want to see this ceremony. I think you can still find it out there on YouTube or whatever. But the Jefferson Airplane getting the...
and there's some funny stuff that happened with it, too. We had little bleachers, and we had sort of like friends and family there and stuff like that. But it's on Hollywood Boulevard, and people are still walking by and whatnot. And there's people walking by outside the barricade, and we're sitting there, giving our speech or whatever, and I hear this sound. Who's Jefferson Airplane?
What?
We started laughing. It was good.
Oh, my gosh. Wow. Well, I bet they look that up on YouTube and say, oh, my God, I know that song. Oh, my God, I know that song.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Your acceptance speech, of course, you're such a prolific writer. I have it, and it's kind of cool, where you said today, we are practically around the corner from the Mark Twain Hotel on Wilcox, where the band spent many nights recording. Tell me about that time, that being there in that right spot.
Sure. So when we first started recording our first record, Jefferson Airplane Takes Off, we stayed at this hotel. Though we were recording at the RCA Studio C, which is at the corner of Sunset and Ivor. But this little hotel was on Wilcox, and it was one of these things. It was an affordable hotel, which means it wasn't great,
right.
But it was clean, and it was right next to a delicatessen. I tried to look this one up, but it's been gone forever. There's no digital footprint. Called the Safari. It was this couple, Sophie and Harry, had this deli, so they called the place the Safari, and they had all the, like kosher food and this and that and the other thing, and it was right next to the hotel. So that little, we slept at the hotel, we ate at the Safari, and we recorded at Sunset and Ivor. I mean, it was just so cool to be there.
It must have been kind of surreal, right? Like decades later, a whole lifetime ago, and there you
Absolutely.
are. Yeah. Yeah, so cool. And then you also mentioned your father was an Angelino, and he grew up in Lincoln Heights. Tell me more about that.
Yeah, well, Lincoln Heights is in East L.A. So my dad was born in Ironwood, Michigan, and there's Finnish immigrants up there. You're pretty much working in the mines and this and that. And my grandfather started making clothes, but there wasn't much money up there, so they moved to L.A. and they wound up in Lincoln Heights, which is East LA, and my grandfather wound up making clothes for movie stars.
Wow.
This and that and the other thing, and because it was a Hispanic neighborhood, my father's third language, his first language was Finnish, and then English was Spanish. So yeah. When my dad passed away about 20-some years ago, I actually went back out there, and I haven't been there since. But it's a real nice, cool little neighborhood.
Yeah. Wow. And you also, your speech also said, Dad complained about my choice of an occupation early on in my career. He would grudgingly allow that I had a real job as time would unfold. Could you imagine what that started to him when you got that?
Oh, he would. Somewhere he's flipping out. So Dad, parents of my parents' generation, what are you going to do when the bubble bursts, all that kind of stuff. But when we finally got that cover of Life magazine, at that point he realized that I had a real job, and then it was okay. And I remember when I quit the airplane, when Jack and I quit the airplane, my father calls me up and he goes, son, have you thought about this? I heard you quit the band. I went, yeah, I did, Dad. He says, have you thought about this? Because, and I love this part, because you have a good job and a responsibility to your fans. And I remember thinking, is this my father saying this?
Wow. Did he ever go see the airplane?
Oh, many times.
Really?
He saw the airplane, saw Hot Tune. Oh, yeah. My father got dosed with acid and shows, all kinds of stuff happened. He wound up really taking the whole thing.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah, never forget. We were at Bimbo's. Hot Tune was playing Bimbo's 365 in San Francisco, sometime in the 70s. I couldn't tell you exactly when. And Dad got dosed, and as I was driving him home, he goes, "Son, the sound was like pillars of light." I went, way to go, Dad. Way to go.
Oh, my God. What a great story. Oh, man. Oh, that's awesome. Holy crap. Oh, Jorma, you got to write that second book. Did you start that yet?
You know something? I've been making some notes. I haven't really gotten serious about it, but I'm seriously thinking about it.
Good. That's a step in the right direction. So,
it is.
Yeah, no, it definitely, I would love another book. I couldn't put down the first one. When you just sent that, it was so engrossing, and it was just so open and raw and honest, and just gave us a beautiful perspective of you as a human, and just really good stuff. So yeah, I'm all for another one.
Well, you know something? It took me a couple of years to do that, and the most important thing is actually to seriously start it. Like I said, I've made a bunch of notes, and so I'm I'm almost committed. I'm almost committed.
Almost as good. It's working there. It's a positive thing. So that's really cool. Today, when I posted that you were my guest on the show today, Stephen Bernstein put a little something in there, a little comment. Of course, Little Feat horns, right? Midnight Ramble Band horns. And he says that he's going to be playing with you guys at the Capitol Theater shows.
That's right. He's going to be our special guest. Absolutely.
Love that. Love that. I think the world
he's
of
awesome.
him. Oh my God, he's a maestro. He's a master, and him with improvisation. There's really nobody on brass quite like Stephen Bernstein, and the pieces he puts together.
He's a bad cat.
Yeah,
we've got fun stuff in store for the audience and us
and you. And you've got 2 nights at the Capitol Theater in Port Chester, December 2 and 3. Of course, Electric Hot Tuna, joined by the wonderful Justin Gwip from right here in the Hudson Valley in Red Hook, or Milan, I should say. And and then you're also you've got a solo show in Albany at the Egg.
I do.
Yeah.
Not the big room, the smaller room, but yeah, that's a neat little room, and yep, looking forward to it.
Yeah, you got a nice tour coming up, and then you're taking a cruise this winter, Jorma.
Yeah, so I've gotten myself committed to one of these Kayamo cruises.
Yeah,
and if I'm not mistaken, Larry and Teresa are going to. I mean, it's all kinds of people on it, and it just looks like fun. And one of the good news for our family is because our daughter will be in college then. Vanessa will actually be able to go on the cruise with me.
Love it. Wow, Izzy in college already, huh?
Well, she's not in college yet, but she will be next year. So
right, yeah, bittersweet times. Yeah, mine is just graduating.
Yeah.
Yes, and Larry, Teresa are doing that cruise because we talked about it a couple of weeks ago when they were on the show.
Big fun.
Oh my God! And what are you guys doing this weekend? Larry's coming to Fur Piece.
Yeah, I just talked to him yesterday. He's coming to Fur Piece. He and Jack and I are teaching classes, of course. It's our closing weekend of the year. And it's funny, Jack and I were just doing some rehearsing earlier this afternoon, putting a set list together, and Larry wanted to know what you're thinking about. So I sent him a list of 30 songs. Needless to say, we won't be doing anywhere near that many, but I said, no need to study them. Just give it a listen if you feel like it. And no matter what happens, it'll be great.
Oh, yeah. Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, the 3 of you guys together. And then you're playing November 16th, Jorma and you and your buddy John Hurlbut. Hurl, you call him.
Correct. Yeah,
yes.
That's a place up in Columbus called Natalie's. And, Natalie's is a great gal. She's been, she and her dad have been in the pizza business forever. They've got this great little restaurant, and Johnny and I have played there before. Jack and I have played there too. It's a real nice listening room in Columbus, and we're gonna have as always a lot of fun.
Always a lot of fun. Well, that's your middle name. That's your middle name. Jorma Kaukonen. hottuna.com, furpieceranch.com. Still a few tickets available at Capitol Theater. I am going to try my best to get down there. My daughter's got a recital in Ithaca. She's a violinist, but I'm going to try to get to one of those shows of yours because it's too good. Too good to miss. Jorma, I always like to read something. Your blog, and if listeners like your writing, and who doesn't, Jorma Kaukonen, your website, jormakaukonen.com. You have a blog, and you post some really powerful things on there, sometimes just pictures. I got to ask you one more question. Oh, my gosh. Sanibel Island.
Yeah, so we had 2 weeks down in Fur Piece Ranch on the road down at Sanibel, and Johnny Hurlbut and I were down there together for those 2 weeks, and we left 4 days before that storm came in.
Jeez.
You know, we've been doing that at Sanibel for 4 years, so I've gotten to know a lot of folks who live down there. You know, brutal, just brutal. I mean, of course, it is a barrier island. I mean, it's like 18 inches above sea level. But I saw pictures. I mean, everything that I remember looks like it's gone. Oh. All that being said, you know, having gotten in touch with some of the folks that live there, they're tough and they're rebuilding already.
Wow.
And of course, there's always that person of, well, if you live on the ocean, you got to expect, hey, listen, we got to live somewhere, and no matter where you live, you're going to have some kind of a natural disaster that plagues you. but you just got to be tough. You just got to be tough.
Right. Yeah. The photos and the the footage of the causeway, just not there anymore.
Brutal.
Not there.
Yeah. But, we drove across that causeway, and we were heading home because I drove down there. And so, 3 or 4 days later, it was gone. Unbelievable.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, my gosh. And you also wrote on your blog about Steve Earle and the Dukes.
Yeah, so
much fun.
We're most of the time I'm working. I don't get a chance to see other people, but Steve Earle and the Dukes came to Marietta, which is a little town north of us, and it's not summer anymore, but it was back then. Beautiful night in Marietta, Ohio, on the river. Steve and the guys, man. Again, I've known Steve for a very long time, and he and the guys and gals, he's got a couple gals in that band too. They just never sounded better. It was just so much fun for me, a real busman's holiday to me, not to worry about anything, just to show up and listen to some good music.
Yeah, absolutely. His bass player was on the show here a couple of weeks ago, Jeff Hill, and, he just is having a great old time with Steve.
Oh, it was not that. I mean, Steve, we always joke, if we could, Steve is so shy, if we could just get him to come out of his shell,
Yeah.
There's nobody more outspoken than Steve. Grace maybe, but they're definitely in the same ballpark.
Yeah. When I was thinking, when I saw the three of you getting your walk, I was wondering maybe you were up to something while you were all together. I don't know, playing a track or playing a tune or something.
Well, that would have been, when Grace stopped doing music, that's something I can't imagine. But hey, I don't have to because hey, I can't imagine not playing music of some sort somehow forever.
Right.
But when Grace loves music. It's not that she doesn't like music, but when she decided she wasn't going to play anymore, she didn't play anymore, and all she does is paint. I mean, I'm sure she has admitted in a guarded way that she plays the piano a little bit at home. And I've told her, if you're going to record some songs, you don't call me and Jack, we're both going to be really pissed.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But pretty much when she was done with music, she was done with it. Again, I don't get it, but it's not for me to get.
Right. Yeah, no, you keep rocking on doing what you got to do. You also opened up for Little Feat out in the West Coast there, Washington, Oregon, California. How much fun are they?
Yeah. Listen, again, it was really fun, Bill Payne put this incarnation of Little Feat, great, just such a great band.
Yep.
Of course, Steve Bernstein and the Ramble Horn section. Scott Gerard is kind of was one of the lead singers. Of course, Fred Tackett and the guys that from the original band. But just such a great band.
Yep.
And great for guys. When you there's that sort of relationship and bond that you form with people you tour with that. It's just special. People that do that kind of work will know what I'm talking about. And they're just a great bunch of guys to hang out with. We had such a good time. It was like a big family.
Right. I can imagine. Yeah, I love them all. Bill was just on the show. Scott is a friend and just great. And Tony Leone, man, what a kick-ass drummer.
Tony, yeah, Tony. Let's not forget Tony. Yeah, it's almost like part of the Ramble band hits the road.
Yeah.
Tony, it's an awesome band. It's an awesome band.
Yeah, absolutely. Truly is. But Electric Hot Tuna, man, you're coming to the area. People check out hottuna.com, jormakaukonen.com, of course, furpieceranch.com. I'd like to always just read a little something, if you don't mind, if I may, use your words from your blog and say, Quote, I can totally relate to the camaraderie surrounding the trips down memory lane that tend to happen on this site on a fairly frequent basis. But I will unabashedly say that I am playing and singing better now than that I ever have in my life, which is as it should be. For some reason, I found myself watching the Fly Jefferson Airplane documentary that Barb Sarles made some years ago. Of course, Marty and Paul were still alive back then, so it was great spending a little time with them again. Loved the footage, but I had to note, as exciting as it was to be young playing that kind of high-energy music, I'm a better musician today. Nuff said, unquote.
Yep. I can hardly wait to hear people's comments. Again, which is not to trivialize what we did back then, because it was exciting. We were young, but you stay in the game for a long time, and you would hope that you would grow.
Of course.
Now one that sort of like grows along with that is that excitement of youth only happens when you're young, And my creative forces are, and not to be as cataclysmic these days, if you get what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's like subtle things, and sometimes it's only stuff that I notice, but that's okay because I still feel like I'm growing.
Right. And I think that people I've talked to, seeing you at shows and talking to people, in the audience, man, they sound better than ever. And I hear that at every single show I've ever been to of yours. So right on with that comment. And Jorma, keep doing what you're doing because, man, you make this world so much of a better place by being in it. Your words, you as a human being, you're just terrific. I think the world of you, and I cannot wait to see you again at a show somewhere, either Capitol Theater or up at the Egg in Albany. Again, jormakaukonen.com, hottuna.com. Check these guys out. You guys kick it. I'm going to dedicate the rest of this hour. I'm going to play some of your music, and I thank you. Is there anything that I've missed that you wanted to talk about?
Oh, yeah. Rita, as always, it's a pleasure talking to you. You're incredibly passionate, sincere, and thorough. And anytime you want to you know how to get a hold of me. Anytime you want to go to a show, you have to ask.
I tell you, I will never forget Hot Tuna at Carnegie Hall. I'm telling you, that was the highlight for me. When the day I die, I will remember that show. That's how much it meant to me. And as do you. You are the best. You and Larry up there together this weekend have the best time ever. And I look forward to seeing you soon, my friend. I'll definitely be in touch. And thank you for the hospitality and your time for being here today, because that's the best gift anyone can give us. So thank you, Jorma.
Thanks, sister. Love you to pieces.
Love you to pieces right back. I'll see you next time.
Indeed.
All right. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Sorry, but it just doesn't get any better than that for me. Jorma Kaukonen, Jefferson Airplane, Hot Tuna. If you missed part of this conversation, it's recording. It's going to be uploaded tonight on the YouTube channel, the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR, also on the Facebook page. In the meantime, since they just got a star on the Walk of Fame, let's play a little airplane here. 91.3 WVKR.
When the truth is found to be lies, and all the joy within you dies. Don't you want somebody to love? Don't you need somebody to love? Wouldn't you love somebody to love? You better find somebody to love. Find like pleasing you more than before. Today, I know what I wanna do, but I don't know what for. To be living for you is all I want to do. To be loving you, it'll all be there when my dreams come true. Today, you're making me say that I somehow have changed. Today, you look into my eyes, I'm just not the same. To be any more than all I am would be a lie. I'm so full of love, I could burst apart and start to cry. Today, everything you want, I swear, it all will come true. Today, I realize how much I'm in love with you. With you standing here, I could tell the world what it means to love. To go on from here, I can't use words, they don't say enough. Please, please, listen to me. It's taken so long to come true. And it's all for you. All for you.
Yeah, 91.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Jefferson Airplane album called Surrealistic Pillow. We heard Somebody to Love and Today. That's the one you don't hear that often, but I love that track. So thank you so much to Jorma Kaukonen for being my guest today here on Local Motion. And the show that we were talking about with him that he did at Carnegie Hall, it was a celebration of his 80th birthday. Of course, at the time, that was supposed to have happened like a year and a half earlier, but we all know COVID happened, so that show didn't happen, so it was postponed, and luckily it happened in April of this year. So Hot Tuna played their album Burgers in its entirety, and Larry and Teresa joined them, and it was just, for me, the highlight of my musical year thus far, but I don't know that much can top that. So with that in mind, I'd like to now play a couple of tracks by Hot Tuna from their album Burgers. Let's start off with one everybody loves. This one's called Water Song, 91.3 WVKR.
Walking through the streets of your fair city like being in another land. Up and down, on the ground, everywhere I go. What tomorrow's gonna bring to me, I guess I will never know till I'm gone. Good mama for the dawn that comes away, well, I'll be gone. Ain't got time to stay here with you. Keep rolling down the highways, how the head rolling so great, don't look back. I get home, don't worry about tomorrow, don't let it bring its sorrow down on me. I'm alone. Maybe one day as I'm moving, I might find him. Come across the desert, maybe come around the bend. Maybe while I'm at the seashore, it might come to me. I'll go down for the last time, I'm just to wait and see. I'll be there with you when the dawn comes away. You make me feel so new. You know I'm here to stay, here with you. So rolling down the highway, living in the spring, raining somewhere down the road. Now that don't mean a thing. Now I know just where I've been, where I'm going to. I won't go there with another. If I can't take you, I'll be there with you. I'm for the dawn that comes away. You make me feel so good. You know I'm here to stay.
.3 WVKR Independent Radio, Poughkeepsie, New York. Hot Tuna off the album Burgers. We just heard Highway Song, and we also heard Water Song. Thank you, a heartfelt thank you to Jorma Kaukonen, today's guest here on LocalMotion. Again, if you missed part of that interview or just want to hear it again like I do, it'll be uploaded tonight on the LocalMotion on 91.3 WVKR YouTube channel, as well as the Facebook page by the same name. If you'd please consider giving it a like and a follow, that's always much appreciated. Again, Hot Tuna is going out on tour, and it's starting up later this month. So they will be at the Capitol Theater on December 2nd and December 3rd. And this is Electric Hot Tuna, Capitol Theater. You can get all the info at hottuna.com. They'll also be playing a couple of dates down in New Jersey, in Red Bank and Montclair. Also on Long Island in Huntington. They've got 2 dates out there. Jorma does a solo show in Albany, New York on the 13th of December. And yeah, again, the website to keep up with them, hottuna.com, jormakaukonen.com, and also, of course, forpeaceranch.com. It is truly one of my honors of my musical journey here, talking with Jorma. I just started seeing him back in the 80s, playing in the area here in the Hudson Valley. He used to live here in Woodstock, Mount Tremper, really. And I used to see him at this little club on Broadway in Kingston called Uncle Willie's. And he'd just come walking in on a Saturday night, and there'd be Rick Danko playing with him. They were good friends. And since then, just followed Jorma with Hot Tuna, and now getting to have him on the show. I usually try to have him on twice a year, spring and in the fall, and it's truly it's an honor. It's a true honor, and I just adore Jorma Kaukonen. So I will let you know that I'm going to play one more track, and then it's time for me to leave these airwaves. So stay right where you are for Dr. J with Irie Groove. Next week, I will be bringing Latin singer El Juri to the airwaves here at WVKR. She's recently recorded and released an album that was recorded right here in the Hudson Valley. So we'll talk with her. In 2 weeks, I look forward to having recording engineer and musician Scott Petito on the airwaves. In 3 weeks, no show because it's the night before Thanksgiving. And it always gets done here in a very special way. So stay tuned for that show. And then we've got Brian Mitchell at the end of this month. So we're fully booked here on these airwaves on this show for the rest of this year. Going to start booking into January next and starting off the new year. And we'll see who will get on air. And, you know, the music just keeps going here in the Hudson Valley, so there's never an end. I've been doing this show 7.5 years, and again, there's never an end. We're so lucky to live where we live. So I'll be back next week, and I'm going to leave you with the song that we actually started with when Jorma called in, but I cut it off. So let's try to listen to most of the song in its entirety. This is Acoustic Hot Tuna performing at Fur Peace Ranch back in 2017. It's called San Francisco Bay Blues. Again, jormakaukonen.com, hottuna.com. Check them out. You don't want to miss these guys. They're the best. And I'll be back next week. Until then, I wish you peace.
Blues from a baby walking down by San Francisco Bay. Well, ocean liner took us so far away. Didn't mean to make you feel bad, Lord, best cab ever had. Said goodbye, made me cry. Well, I won't lay right down and die. Said I ain't got a nickel, I ain't got a lousy dime. If I come back, think I'm gonna lose my mind. Well, ever back to stay. A brand new girl, along with a baby by the San Francisco River. Well, sitting there on my back porch, wondering which way to go. Woman, I'm so crazy about Lord, I don't want me no more. Catch myself a freight train, 'cause I'm feeling blue. Right all the way to the end of the line, just thinking only of you will be in another city. Just about to go insane. Well, thought I heard my baby